Hey gamers, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do a little bit of a different video. This is more about why I feel 2025 is the best time to get into Raid. When you're taking a look at all these different games to play, why choose Raid? I think there's a lot of great reasons and a lot of fun to be had with Raid. There's a lot to discuss here, so let's get into it. All right, and welcome back. You may be new to Raid, or maybe you're not. Maybe you're just checking out another content creator putting out videos on the game. The game has been out for a little while. I think it's it's been about 6 years, I think. And when you take a look at a bunch of games out there and you're wondering which one to play, you may be wondering why you should be playing Raid. And I think really the first thing is there are so many different resources that you can use to get ahead in this game from the jump, right? You've got a ton of content creators out there. If you haven't downloaded it and you want to check it out, you can use my QR code here or the link in the description below to get some great support characters and some resources. I think that alone is a reason to really try it, because not just mine. If you don't use my code, you can use somebody else's code. There is a ton of resources on the front end that you can use, a lot of codes that you can use to start your roster out very quickly, not just with characters, but with resources. So as a new player coming into the game, you can be sure that you're not going to be left out in the cold. There's a ton of stuff out there to help you out. I go over a lot of that in some of my previous videos, so definitely check that out. Google 2025 Raid tips, beginner's guide, things like that. There's a bunch of resources out there to help you out so that you don't feel overwhelmed when you jump into this game. I just put a video out. We talked about how there is so much to do in this game that it can be a little overwhelming in the beginning. So you really want to go in with a plan, do a little bit of research, or maybe go in blind. I suggest that you don't, but maybe you go in blind and you just kind of check it out and see if it's something for you. I think also one thing about this game that newer games aren't going to have right away is just the massive roster. I mean, you go in and you take a look at how many different characters are in this game. There is a ton. I mean, let's go back. Let's go back. Look at this. 76 here, 53 here, 87 here, 72 here. Look at how many different factions there are and how many different characters there are in total. Game's been around a long time, so obviously that's expected. But not just how many characters there are, but I think when you take a look at just the character designs, the art design, if you like high fantasy, if you like the realistic art type games, this is definitely one that I think you're going to enjoy. Oh, hey, here's Rhonda. I don't have her. Isn't she a wrestler? I think she's a wrestler. You know what? And that kind of goes into another reason why I feel Raid is a great game to get into. They have so many different collabs. Like currently, I'll go back to the roster thing here in just a minute, but I mean, this is kind of roster related as well. Currently, you have this cool event going on with Alice in Wonderland and the different characters that you can collect from this event, a whole team of 5, right? And the design here, what is that game? Oh, can you all remember that Alice game? I can't remember the game, but it is more of a darker tale for Alice in Wonderland, and I loved it. I can't find the first game, but the second game I've been able to check out again. It's a cool take on Alice in Wonderland and the story there, and I like the darker type stories, the darker tones. So the amount of collabs and everything that they have for this game, the cool designs of the different characters, and the kits, if you like not just a ton of different characters, but the different kits and how they support each other and synergies that you can create between the different characters. If you like theory crafting and things like that, this game is definitely for you. And not only do they have just this massive roster, let's go ahead and take a look at a couple more characters here, because I think it's just absolutely mind-boggling how many characters. I don't even think some games that have been out this long have this many characters. Look at this one. I think this one's kind of cool looking too. Oh my gosh. Oh, and the Alice one here. Let's go take a look at the Alice one here in just a second. These are just some really cool designs. Something I thought that was cool about Alice. Hold on, let's go back to that one here really quick. I know I'm probably going all over the board for you, but let's go look at Alice. All right. This is cool. I told you Darker Tone, right? And it reminded me of that game. American McGee's something, right? Anyway, look, the rabbit is just dangling from her back. Anyway, some cool stuff. So this game, in my opinion, is a leader in the turn-based RPG genre. You don't see a lot of these games coming out anymore. A lot of games coming out these days are idle combat games. I mean, I'm playing a few right now that are idle combat. And so the difference, right? Turn-based, you attack, then you wait for them to attack, and then you attack again, right? Because you can select your abilities, you can select your targets, and it's just you're going back and forth. There's no time limit. Whereas in these idle combat games that are coming out, it's fluid. It's just continually attacking. You don't even control the basic abilities. You typically just control the ultimates. And sometimes you can't even control your target for the ultimates. You just throw your ultimate out there. So when we take a look at turn-based RPGs and the powerhouses out there right now, honestly, I think Raid is the leader there. So when we talk about that, let's talk about revenue. Let's talk about downloads, right? So I use a tool called Sensor Tower. I'll just go in there and I'll take a look at kind of how games are moving along, right? When you take a look at Raid, Raid has just in the last month in December, about 500,000, just under 500,000 downloads, but has made $20 million in revenue. When you take a look at these numbers in Sensor Tower, these are typically lower than what the actuals are. So they've got a healthy revenue coming in. They've got new players downloading the game all the time. That lets you know that the game is going to be around for a while. I had the question in the very beginning too, how much longer is Raid going to be around? Because they've been around for 6 years. We've had games out there that have been around for 10 years and 12 years. I think Raid, the track that they're on is going to be around for a long time. So if you want to jump into a game that's going to be around a long time and has a very good track history, Raid is definitely one. A lot of the games that have come out these days too, they don't last very long. There's a game I recently played that was out for 8 months and then shut down. Another one before that, it was out for maybe a year and 3 months, and it was shut down. So we know Raid is going to be around for a while. So if you want a game that you can really kind of get into and get to know and play for the long run, then Raid is definitely a game that you want to check out. All right, next, the aesthetic. I think the aesthetic is great. I think one thing, some of the other games that I've played that is missing. So when December was around, we had all the holidays and everything. The town here was dressed up. It's just a minor thing, right? It's just an aesthetic thing, but it was all decorated and everything in the holiday season and all that cool stuff. I like when games do that. It just gives a little more personality. It also allows you to kind of immerse yourself in the game. And I think really as players, what we want to do is immerse ourselves in the game and enjoy the different seasons and the different events and everything that pop up. And that's another thing. There are so many different events. There are always events going on. There's always collabs. There's always tournaments. There's always something to do in this game. So once you get through that beginning piece of the entire game, you've got so many more things to do once you get a really good handle on this game and you're not overwhelmed with everything that's going on. There's just a ton of stuff to do and you're never, ever going to get bored. And then I'm just going to end here with just reiterating a couple other things. There is a lot of resources out. There's a lot of codes out there. There are a lot of download links like mine. You can use the QR code up there or the link in the description below that are going to give you characters, right? You're going to get 2 free epic characters with mine and everybody else's. You're going to get some resources. And that is a really good boost. And it helps you build that starting team. So if you're going to jump into the game, you're going to check it out, use somebody's QR code or download link, get those resources. Check out my video, my first video that I put out on this that has a bunch of different codes with some free characters and things that you can get, because there's a lot of great free characters that you can get that people are still using in the end game. There's a lot of great codes out there for resources. As a new player, it is a great place to start. And we've got Alice in Wonderland, like I said, brand new, January 2025. Get in now to get that character for free after 7 days. Just log in, 7 days, unlock Alice, and then you can go ahead and play around with her, add her to your team. I think it's going to be a blast. Almost there. I've got a couple more days, and then we'll have her. She just released. All right, everybody, that's what I had for you. Hopefully this gave you a good idea of what to expect. If you have any questions or comments, definitely put them in the comment section below. As always, I want to thank you all for taking the time to watch the video. If you liked it, make sure to hit that like button and share your thoughts and questions in the comment section below. Take care, everybody, and we'll talk to you next time.